Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Pittsburgh Steelers signed Super Bowl winning WR for 2025 as Aaron Rodgers' saga nears official end. For a team that has a major question mark at quarterback, the Pittsburgh Steelers sure are acting like they have a solid plan for the position in place. Of course, the Steelers have not exactly had a great plan at quarterback in place ever since Ben Roethlisberger retired in 2021. 2 seasons with Kenny Pickett, whom the Steelers drafted in 2022 to replace Roethlisberger, produced suboptimal results at the quarterback position and led Pittsburgh to trade the former first-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles last offseason. In 2024, the Steelers signed Russell Wilson to be their starting quarterback while also acquiring Justin Fields to be his backup. They allowed both to leave in free agency, leaving Mason Rudolph as their projected starter for the 2025 NFL season. But, of course, there is always the chance that the team will sign 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers, a situation that Pittsburgh appears to think will be a reality very soon. On Monday, it was reported that the Steelers had reached a 1-year $2 million contract agreement with longtime veteran wide receiver Robert Woods, who spent the last 2 seasons with the Houston Texans, had 20 receptions for 203 yards and no touchdowns last year. He won a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams in 2021, which was the last of his 5 seasons with the team before he went to the Tennessee Titans. Woods, some may recall, spent the first 4 seasons of his NFL career with the Buffalo Bills, who selected him in the 2nd round of the 2013 NFL Draft. Woods joins a receiving corps that includes George Pickens and 2-time Pro Bowler DK Metcalf. The signing of Woods after the 2025 NFL Draft is significant because they did not take a quarterback until the 6th round when they selected Ohio State's Will Howard. If the Steelers thought they would be forced to go into the season with Rudolph as their starter, they likely would have taken one earlier, perhaps even in the 1st round. But they did not. During the draft, Rooney told the media, "We're still kind of getting the same signals we've been getting recently that he does want to come here. I do think we may get word soon, obviously, with things starting to crank up here with the off-season program, etc. If he's coming, would like to get him here soon for some of that." Head coach Mike Tomlin added, "We've had good conversations. We feel good about our plan at the position. Certainly, it's yet to be revealed at this point, and I understand the angst not only the media, but this community that supports us. We're excited about what potentially awaits us there. But really I have nothing to add other than that." While Rodgers has not officially made up his mind, it sure does sound like the Steelers expect him to soon, and that they will then be expecting him to report to for team activities. Steelers' George Pickens trade talks on draft day almost changed everything. There were rumblings that the Pittsburgh Steelers may have been willing to trade George Pickens during the 2025 NFL Draft. It turns out this was true. Since the end of the 2024 season, Pickens' name has been in trade discussions among the NFL media. Now it sounds like the team was willing to send him packing. On Tuesday, Dianna Russini of The Athletic reported that the Dallas Cowboys were one of the teams interested in Pickens during the draft. George Pickens' name was tossed around in trade discussions this past week, Russini wrote on X. The Cowboys were one of the teams that discussed bringing in the Steelers wideout, sources tell me. But with the draft in the rearview, expect the trade buzz to cool surrounding Pickens. It's unclear how far these trade talks had advanced. During the NFL Draft, the focus was on who the Steelers would select, not on Pickens. But we could be looking at a very different team had a George Pickens trade come to fruition during the draft. Russini didn't mention what the Dallas Cowboys would have been willing to give up in a trade. Considering Pickens is entering the final year of his contract and has been a headache to deal with over his first 3 seasons, we were probably looking at a 3rd or 4th round pick. While some would argue Pickens is too valuable to send him packing for underwhelming draft compensation, this would have been a move with the best interest of the team's future in mind. With DK Metcalf coming to town via trade, there isn't a chance Pickens receives a contract extension with Pittsburgh. The Steelers handed Metcalf a 5-year contract at $30 million per season, and paying two wideouts in that range is something this team won't do, especially considering the issues they've had with Pickens early in his career. Instead of letting him play out the final year of his contract in 2025, dealing with whatever questionable responses he might have to the media this season, and letting him walk away for nothing, the Steelers could have traded him to the Cowboys during the draft. In the process, they would have picked up an extra mid-round pick that they could have used to draft a player who would be on a 4-year contract. The Pittsburgh Steelers clearly weren't moved by whatever offers might have been on the table, and they are going to try to make a push for postseason success this year. A trade didn't happen during the draft, but the fact that they were entertaining the idea shows that they aren't married to George Pickens. Rappaport, Steelers remain possibility for Kirk Cousins. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue waiting on Aaron Rodgers. In the meantime, Kirk Cousins is a name that's floated amid a lot of speculation as to where he might play in 2025. The fan base got a small break from these two names during draft weekend. However, with the Steelers waiting until the 6th round to take a quarterback, it seems likely that one of Rodgers or Cousins will suit up for Pittsburgh in 2025. NFL insider Ian Rappaport believes the Steelers remain a possibility for Cousins. If leaves Atlanta, where might he go? Rappaport said Monday on the Pat McAfee Show. And I think if Aaron Rodgers does not go to Pittsburgh, I think that might be a possibility. Given his current situation, Cousins going to the Steelers would make sense. He's being paid handsomely to be the backup quarterback in Atlanta, which is far from the worst gig in the world. However, he'd probably like a chance to start somewhere, and Pittsburgh would provide that this year. According to Diana Rossini, the teams have discussed this possibility as recently as last week. It remains clear that Rodgers is the Steelers' first priority. They feel confident he's coming to town, but can't be comfortable with how long things are taking. After not drafting a QB who can readily start in 2025, they're putting all their eggs in Rodgers' basket. If things go awry there, Pittsburgh might not have any option other than Cousins. Fortunately for the Steelers, Rappaport doesn't think Cousins will have any other options either. It feels to me like the other possibilities kind of don't exist, Rappaport said. People talked about the Vikings, they traded for Sam Howell. People talked about the Browns, okay. I don't think he's going there. The Vikings initially made sense, due to Cousins' familiarity with the franchise. The Browns also looked like a possible destination. However, as Rappaport says, Minnesota traded for Sam Howell. The Browns took two quarterbacks during the draft, each in surprising fashion, in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Aside from Pittsburgh, it's becoming hard to find another situation where Cousins could start. When the offseason began, the Steelers might not have expected Cousins to be a realistic QB option for them. However, it's about to turn May, and their QB room consists of Mason Rudolph, Will Howard and Skylar Thompson. If they miss out on Rodgers, Cousins might become a player they have to acquire. And you fan? What do you think about Kirk Cousins' situation? Write to us in the comments.